Hello everybody, Mr. Odom here, and we are going to work out some problems from section 4.3. Alright, so we'll just jump right in. Make sure you have your pencil, composition book, or notebook paper to take notes. You're probably going to need a calculator for this video, and the learning target for this video is I can solve inequalities using multiplication and division. So, the directions say solve the inequality, graph the solution. We'll get started with number 12. 2.2m is less than 11. So I need to get m all by itself. Since I'm multiplying by 2.2, I divide by 2.2. That's the inverse operation for multiplication. And if I divide this side, the left-hand side, by 2.2, then I need to divide the right side by 2.2. Okay, that's the division property of inequality. So on the left-hand side, 2.2 in the numerator cancels with the 2.2 in the denominator, and I have 1 times m, which is m, and then m divided by 1, which is m. And notice I am dividing by a positive number, so the sign does not change. And then you can work this out in your calculators. 11 divided by 2.2 is 5. So m can be any number less than 5. And let's graph the solutions. So I'll put 0 here, say 5 will be here. And remember, I put a circle around it. I'm going to go up and to the left. And remember, this top line shows all the solutions to the inequality. Do I color in the circle? No, I do not. I don't color it in because m is just less than 5. If it was less than or equal to 5, then I would shade that in. So here's my solution, and here is the graph. I'm sorry, here's the solution to the inequality, and I've graphed it. I've graphed all the answers to this inequality. Okay, let's look at number 14. So I take 1/6, multiply it by w. That's greater than or equal to 2.5. And remember, when you have a fraction multiplied by a variable, if I want to get the variable all by itself, I need to multiply by the reciprocal of that fraction. Why? Because when I do, the numerators and denominators all cancel out. So I basically, I multiply 1/6 by 6, and the answer is 1. And 1 times w is just w. And since I'm multiplying the left-hand side by 6, I need to multiply the right-hand side by 6. All right, that's the multiplication property of inequalities. And I also multiplied by a positive number, so the sign does not change directions. And then in your calculator, you can type in 2.5 times 6, and you will get 15. So w is greater than or equal to 15. Let's see, how do we graph that? So here's 0, and let's say this is where 15 lives on this number line. All right, so the greater than piece means I go up and to the right, and then the equal, so it also equals 15. That is one of the solutions, so I just shade in the circle. And there I have graphed all the solutions to the inequality for number 14. All right, let's move on to number 16. Let's see. I have 3x is less than or equal to negative 5/4. All right. And how do I get x all by itself? Well, I need to divide by 3. So I can divide this side by 3. We do that. And then on this side, I also need to divide by 3. Now remember, when we divide by a number, we can use, and we have fractions, we can use, remember, keep, change, flip. So first, let me just write this. I'm just going to divide by 3. All right, I'm going to work this problem out again and show you another way to look at it. So anyway, let me get back to it. So let's divide numerator and denominator by 3. This gives me x by itself. I'm dividing by a positive number, so the sign stays the same. And then on this side, I have a fraction divided by a whole number, so I do keep, change, flip. So really, I am multiplying by 1/3. There's keep, change the sign to multiplication, and flip. And then so x will be less than or equal to, a negative times positive is negative 5/12. And I can graph that. Let me graph that right here. So here's 0, and let's say this is negative 5/12. I put a circle around it. I go up and to the left, and do I color this in? Yes, because it's less than or equal to. Okay, let me just show you something real quick here. And it's really kind of cool to think about what the relationship between multiplication and division are. So in this problem, part of this problem, when I had the negative 5/4 divided by 3, I ended up multiplying. So I turned the division into multiplication. Well, what if we just multiplied this side by 1/3? And that multiplication property of equality says, all right, well, if you multiply that side by 1/3, you have to multiply this side also by 1/3. So something that's kind of neat is on this side, really, if I think about it, what is the reciprocal of 3? As a whole number, 3, the reciprocal is 1/3. And so multiplying 3 times 1/3, the numerators and denominators cancel out, and I'm still left with x. Okay, and then over here we had negative 5/12. So if we just think about the relationship between multiplication and division, we can actually go right to this step, and instead of dividing both sides by 3, which we did up here, I can also multiply a whole number by its reciprocal. And sometimes that is a handy way to solve these problems. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out to you. And if that's still confusing to you, bring it up in class and we'll talk about it some more. All right, number 18. So I have 11.3 is greater than b divided by 4.3. And I want to get b all by itself, so I know I need to multiply this side by 4.3. And I need to multiply this side by 4.3. And there's cancellation that happens. I end up with b on this side. And then on the left-hand side, 4.3 times 11.3 gives me 48.59. And if I want to graph that, if it's hard to graph it this way, because it seems kind of confusing, 48.59 is greater than anything I can put here. Another way we can write this is put the variable on the left side. Remember to change the direction of the sign. So here, the alligators opened up to eating the 48.59. So if I change the variable, if I put the variable on the other side of the inequality, I also need to change the direction of it. So that way, the 48.59, the alligator's mouth is still open to eating it. Okay, so these inequalities are the same. 48.59 is greater than b, or b is less than 48.59. And then we can graph that. So I have 0, let's say right here is where 48.59 lives. I put a circle around there. I go up and to the left since it's less than. I do not shade in, I don't shade in the circle because it's just less than. All right. So there's a few problems there. We will work out some more. That's all I have for now. This is Mr. Odom. Have a good day. You guys are awesome. Bye.